Ellie's echo. Ellie was no ordinary elephant calf. While most elephants had big floppy ears, Ellie's were so large they looked like two giant butterfly wings. When she flapped them, the grass rustled, birds took flight, and the other elephant calves giggled. But Ellie's ears weren't just big. They were powerful. When she stood still and listened, she could hear things other animals couldn't. The rumble of faraway waterfalls, the rustle of mice in the tall grass, even the faint patter of rain on leaves miles away. Sometimes, though, Ellie felt shy about her ears. "They're too big," she would sigh to her mother. "Everyone stares at them." Mama would gently nuzzle her and say, "Ellie, one day your ears will be your greatest gift." Ellie wasn't sure she believed that, but she secretly hoped Mama was right. One golden afternoon, Ellie was splashing in the watering hole with her friends. The air smelled of warm mud and sweet acacia flowers. Zebras trotted by in the distance, and a pair of giraffes stretched their necks toward the highest leaves. Then Ellie froze. She had heard something strange, a faint, roaring sound far to the east. She held her breath and lifted her ears high, turning them like giant dishes. The sound grew clearer. Water, lots of it, rushing and tumbling, but it wasn't the usual river. This sounded angry, wild. Her heart thumped. "That doesn't sound right," she whispered. "Ellie," called her friend Keto the meerkat. "Why are you standing so still?" "Shh," Ellie said. "I hear something far away. It sounds dangerous." "Dangerous?" Keto's whiskers twitched nervously. "Yes," Ellie said. I think a flood is coming." Ellie raced to the herd and told the older elephants what she had heard. But the matriarch, old Grandma Tembo, only chuckled. "A flood, little one. The skies are clear and the sun is shining." "You must have heard the waterfall." Ellie stomped her foot. "No, it's louder than the waterfall. Please, we have to warn everyone before it's too late." The other calves whispered and giggled. "Ellie and her silly ears," one of them said. Ellie's heart sank. She wanted to shrink her ears down to the size of a mouse's, but Mama put her trunk gently on Ellie's shoulder. "If you believe what you heard, then trust your ears. Do what you think is right," Ellie nodded. Even if no one else believed her, she couldn't just do nothing. Ellie decided she would warn all the animals herself. First, she ran to the zebra herd. "Flood," she trumpeted. "Run to higher ground." The zebras twitched their ears nervously. "A flood?" one asked. "Are you sure?" "Yes," Ellie cried. "Please tell the others." The zebras snorted, stamped their hooves, and galloped off toward the hills. Next, Ellie went to the warthogs, the antelope, even the shy porcupines. Some animals laughed at her, some ran, some hid. By the time she had finished, the sky was starting to change. Dark clouds rolled over the horizon like enormous grey elephants. Thunder rumbled. Ellie's heart raced. She flapped her ears wide, and the sound of water was now deafening. "It's coming," she whispered. "I have to get to the herd." Ellie galloped back as fast as she could. Her big ears acted like sails, catching the wind, helping her run faster. The first fat raindrop splashed on her forehead, then another, then hundreds more, drumming on the earth. By the time she reached the herd, rain was pouring in sheets. Grandma Tembo's eyes widened. "Oh my," she said. "You were right, little one. Everyone to higher ground." The elephants trumpeted and began to march, but the river was rising fast. Ellie's ears caught the sound of a new danger. A baby hippo stuck near the riverbank crying for its mother. "I'll save it," Ellie shouted, and before anyone could stop her, She splashed toward the sound. The baby hippo was caught in the reeds, water swirling around it. Ellie waded in, using her ears to locate exactly where the cries came from. Left, right, closer, closer, until she found the frightened little creature. "Hold on," she trumpeted. The water was up to her belly now, but Ellie was strong. She wrapped her trunk around the baby and pulled, tugging until it came free. Then step by step, she guided it back to shore, her ears flapping for balance in the rushing water. When they reached dry ground, the hippo's mother came running, crying tears of relief. "You saved my baby," she said. "How can I ever thank you?" Ellie just smiled, her heart pounding. "Just tell everyone to run to the hills." By the time Ellie and the hippos reached the hills, the flood had arrived. The river had burst its banks, turning the savannah into a churning lake. Trees bent under the force of the water, and crocodiles swam where antelope usually grazed. But, thanks to Ellie, almost every animal had made it to safety. The zebras huddled together. The giraffes craned their necks nervously. The elephants formed a circle around the calves. Ellie stood at the edge of the hill, her ears twitching, listening for any cries for help. At last, the roaring water began to slow. The rain stopped. The clouds parted, and golden sunlight broke through. The whole savannah sparkled, shining like a mirror. That evening, as the animals celebrated their survival, Grandma Tembo called everyone together. "Today we were saved because one young elephant listened when no one else would," she said. Ellie blushed and tried to hide behind her ears, but everyone cheered. "You should be proud," Mama said. "Your ears are not just big, they are brave." Ellie smiled. For the first time in her life, she loved her enormous ears. She lifted them high and flapped them proudly, and the sound echoed across the hills like a drumbeat of hope. From that day on, whenever the sky grew dark and the wind picked up, the animals would look to Ellie. She would lift her ears, listen carefully, and tell them what was coming. And the whole savannah slept peacefully, knowing that Ellie's echo would always keep them safe.